Hey there folks, welcome to this video, and here I'm going to be talking about the WRC. They recently carried out a poll for the greatest driver in WRC history, and the winner was Matador Carlos Sainz, who faced off in the final against Sebastian Loeb. I want to discuss this a little bit, and ask whether or not Matador himself is the greatest driver in the history of the WRC. Now firstly, I want to say before we get into it, it's all kind of, subjective, so it depends on your interpretation of it. But to say that the final went between these two people who were teammates for 3 seasons at Citroën, of course with Sainz only doing a couple of rounds in 2005, filling in for Francois Duval when he fell out of favour with the team, it makes sense that it's the two of them. I mean, Ogier and Tanak were also in a bit of contention. There were also like a history of champions being in there. So you had, for example, Gronholm, Kankkunen, Solberg. But I'm not surprised that Sainz was in the final. I mean, for example, even though he was only a 2-time world champion, he was in the title battle a lot of times on other occasions, like 1991, or even quite famously 1998 or 1995. The amount of second places he got in the championship, the amount of third place, the amount of title battles that he was in down to the final round, often Rally GB, shows the kind of adaptability he had. Potentially how good the car was as well, because with a lot of these he was in a car that could have won the title. In some cases a car that did win the title, for example 95. But the question is, does that factor into whether or not he's the best? Of course, we'd probably have to say that is the case with Loeb, who ended up winning 9 titles on the bounce with Citroën at the time of Citroën's dominance. But he's since shown, with performances in the C3 in 2018 and performances with Hyundai outside of PSA, that he is one of the best drivers in WRC history, if not the best himself. Now, I would understand why Sainz wins this, because with a lot of these other people, like Loeb, Ogier, and arguably even people like Gronholm, they were very much in certain eras. Whilst Loeb won in 2011 and 2012 in the DS3, the 1.6 litre car, a lot of his titles came in the 2 litre era. Ogier pretty much in the 1.6 litre era, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Even people such as Tommy Mäkinen, you've got the Group A era, so 96, 97, 98, 99. Sainz, much like McRae, was competitive in a variety of different eras. Throughout Group A, so we're talking, he won the title in 1990 and was competitive all the way throughout Group A, and also through the early parts of the World Rally Car era up to 2000 and... Well, 2003 he was last in the title battle, but he was still winning rallies in 2004, and even when he came in for 2 rounds in 2005, one of those results was a podium. And even if you looked at other statistics, they speak for themselves. Of course, he has the second highest number of starts after Jari-Matti, who overtook him last year. But in terms of podiums, he nearly has 100 podiums. He has 97 podiums in his career. Only Sebastian Loeb has more. And if Ogier is retiring at the end of this season, Ogier won't pass that. And he's still 4th highest in terms of event wins on 26, having been passed by Gronholm, Ogier and Loeb. Still 3rd highest in terms of stage wins after Alain and Loeb. There are so many records that Sainz is still somewhat in contention for, even though the calendar has changed so vastly since he was competing. And of course, there are other things like the fact that he's gone on to be a 3-time Dakar winner, or that he tested for Volkswagen when they did the return to WRC with the dominant Polo, which Ogier ended up winning 4 titles on the bounce with. I can understand why people are saying Carlos Sainz is the best one out there. I can also understand why people would be hesitant to say it, but again, it depends on your interpretation of who can be the best and how you measure who the best is. For me, my favourite is probably going to remain being Peter Solberg. That's largely because one of my earliest memories is him winning the title in 2003 and me watching that happen live, and also going to World's Rally GB last year and watching him finish his final stage. And that's that for me. That said, I could understand the claims behind any of these drivers being up there as the best, the ones that were seeded, and even the ones who were in qualifier rounds as well. Like, Jari-Matti ended up winning a rally for 11 years in a row, from 2008 to 2018. Whereas Sainz had a record of getting consecutive podiums between, 89 and 2005. Latvala had a consistency in win. With someone like Tommy Macklin, he was still quite competitive all the way up to 2003 when he retired. Someone like McRae, very much the same kind of thing. I mean, you could think about 2005 Rally Australia with the Fabia, for example, where he was competing for the podium, maybe even the win, with a car that hadn't really even gotten that close in its third season of competition. The WRC is made up of so many different legends, and I'm even only talking about recent memory. You could look back to Group B. You could look at people in early Group A like Kankkunen. But you could look at Group B. You could look at people like Walter Rule. You could look at people like Michel Mouton. There are so many people you could claim are the best. I'd like to hear yours. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye for now.